afternoon in Philadelphia. The NFC East battle between the 2 and 3 Washington Redskins, the 2 and 3 Philadelphia Eagles. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. Alongside Ron Pitts, I'm Tom Brenneman. What a win for the Redskins last week over Dallas. And, Ronnie, they really dominated that game.
Yeah, you talk about domination. You're talking about the run. And I'm thinking of Terry Allen. Now, here's a guy that was really a steal in the free agency market for the Redskins. Last week against the Cowboys, 121 yards rushing, NFC Offensive Player of the Week. But he isn't doing it alone. The offensive line is what's key. Now, these guys have been nicked up all season long. A lot of different changes up front, but each time they've been able to protect Gus Frerotte and run the football. I got to think of the Hogs when I look at this group again, and I think guys like Jacoby and Bostic, they're proud of the fact that the Redskins have reestablished dominance in the trenches.
Should be interesting today. Philadelphia's defensive front really beaten up. More on that later, but the big story here, it's Rodney Peete at quarterback, not Randall Cunningham.
Yeah, well, you know, Ray Rhodes comes in with the West Coast style of offense, and he thinks that Rodney's the best guy for him because he's accurate, he's disciplined, and he's patient. He can make the offense go as a quarterback. But the run is going to be key, too. I think of the run, I'm thinking of Ricky Watters. But the big question in my mind and in the mind of the fans here in Philly is, which Ricky Watters is going to show up? That's like the $3 million question.
All right, when we come back, we'll have the Redskins and the Eagles getting together for the 121st time. The kickoff from Veterans Stadium is up next. Sellout crowd, a beautiful afternoon at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. The Redskins and the Eagles, each at 2 and 3, getting together for the first time in their 2 meetings during this 95-year. Norv Turner, his team, certainly believing it perhaps has turned the corner after that win last week over the Dallas Cowboys. Ray Rhodes, and this is his first year for the Philadelphia Eagles, spent last year, of course, as the defensive coordinator of the world champion 49ers. Philadelphia's won the toss, selected to receive. Charlie Garner, number 30, Kelvin Martin, number 84, awaiting the Eddie Murray kick, and we're underway. It's Martin from the goal line. Tripped up, hammered it to 16. William Bell delivering that blow on Martin, and that's where the Philadelphia offense will put it in play. Rodney Peete, the 7th-year pro out of USC, started last week and led the Eagles to the 15-10 win over New Orleans. Up front, it'll be Brooks, the rookie, at left tackle. We'll keep an eye on him today. The longtime Redskin, Raleigh McKenzie. Waters and McCrary in the backfield. Terrific pair of receivers in Barnett and Williams. The longtime Packer, Ed West, the tight end. From the 17 and Peete out to throw. Delivers on the money to Fred Barnett. And he's close to a Philadelphia first down, out to the 26. The stop made by Ken Harvey. Defensively for Washington. Gaines in place of the injured Tim Johnson up front. Very solid linebacking core. Patton from Buffalo, Stevens, Seattle, and Harvey an All-Pro a season ago. And in the defensive backfield, Green and Carter, the corners, Richard and Taylor in place of the injured James Washington at strong safety. Second and 1. Waters. And he's pushed out of bounds. Good enough for a first down. Darrell Green able to track him down. So Philadelphia 2 plays and a first down.
Yeah, you know, we talked about this West Coast offense, and we'll get more into what it does, what it means, how it works later on. But that man we just saw right there, Waters, he is going to be key in this thing. Rhodes does not have all the components to run the West Coast like he wants to, so he's still got to rely a little bit on that run. And that's what we said in the open. Which Ricky Watters are we going to see?
Now, Waters paid the big money coming over from the Super Bowl champion 49ers. Rushed for 79 yards last week in the win over New Orleans. Peete again, a short drop near side, right on the money as he guns it in there to Fred Barnett.
You know, just talking a little bit what these two teams are going to have to do today, and what you'll see, first of all, for the Eagles, execute the offense. And by that, we're talking about this offense is built on timing, positioning, and discipline. That'll be key. Special teams, they're going to have to stop a team that's #1 in kickoff return and punt returns. That really means Brian Mitchell. On the other side for the Redskins, multiple defensive fronts. They'll see 8-man fronts and use some blitzing to try to throw off the timing. And own the trenches like we talked about in the top. They got to dominate down there like they've done the last few weeks.
Wainwright, a second tight end in motion after a gain of 12. Waters to the near side, and shoved out of bounds by Tom Carter. And a very good start for Ricky Waters, a two-time Pro Bowler.
You know, Tom, I call this offense the 1-2-3 swing. The reads are going to be right here, the tight end here, and if he doesn't see what he wants, then he's going to go to the outlet, which was Ricky Waters in that case. It's all on timing. And, you know, 3 seconds, by the time he's dropped back, if he doesn't get rid of the ball, usually something bad happens. They want to get that ball out of the quarterback's hands within 3 seconds.
Gain of 5, 2nd and 5. Charlie Garner checks in for the first time, breaks it to the outside. He's inside the 30 and could go. One man to beat. Touchdown, Philadelphia. No flags on the play. Charlie Garner, a 55-yard run.
Guy McIntyre, the guard, he's going to come out and pull. The problem here is that everybody crashes down inside. Darrell Green does not keep outside leverage and the play bounces. Darrell Green, the corner, he's going to come up. Watch McIntyre seal right there. And that's the block by Waters on the corner, and that's funny.
Gary Anderson tacks on the extra point. The longest touchdown run by a Philadelphia Eagle this season. Garner has given Philly a 7-0 lead here in the opening quarter. Get a look at Independence Hall here in Philadelphia. And the Eagles jump out in front 7-0, going 83 yards in 5 plays. And Charlie Garner, a career-long 55-yard touchdown run. So now the Eagles will kick it off. And waiting back for the Gary Anderson kick, the most dangerous return man perhaps in the NFL, and Brian Mitchell. And it's Mitchell from the 7. Watch out. And he's up to midfield. Brian Mitchell wrestled down by Rob Carpenter. We mentioned the fact that Mitchell has the 2 longest kickoff returns in the NFC this season. That one 42 yards.
Going back to the touchdown, now here's Waters right here. I want you to watch the block he makes on Darrell Green. You know, you talk about a guy that's brought here, paid a lot of money to run the football, make an impact. Well, that's an impact right there. That block is key. Actually, he takes out 2 people. He gets the sheriff, Stanley Richard, coming over on the outside.
Redskins, their first play from scrimmage, dropped in the backfield is Allen. And William Thomas came up from his linebacking spot to make the stop.
You know, it's funny, talking to Ray Brown last night, he said he wasn't sure that a lot of the guys on the team, the younger guys, understand what this rivalry is about. You know, it was a big game last week with Dallas, no doubt, but this is a whole different story when you come in the Veterans Stadium here and play Philadelphia. And he wasn't sure that not everybody understood that.
Loss of a yard, 2nd and 11 for the Redskins. Back to the ground, and again it's Allen, the 3rd leading rusher in the NFL, and not much room against this Philadelphia defense. Romanowski, the first man to meet him. Gus Frerotte, the 197th pick in the draft last year, and he is starting his 5th game this season. What a line up front, the way they played. Giesick in the middle, Simmons and Patton the tackles, with Johnson back in the lineup. He returned last week. Allen and Logan in the backfield. Ellard, the rookie. Westbrook out of Colorado, the wideouts. And Galbraith is the tight end. Gain of 2, 3rd and 9 for Washington. Pitch inside to Mitchell. And he's to the Philadelphia 44. So 3 and out for the Washington offense. You know, talking to Norv yesterday, he said, hey, the thing we want to do is run the football. Why wouldn't you after last week's performance? But I got to believe that with the score 7-0 now, Norv is going to give it one more series. If they don't do anything, he's going to start putting that ball in the air. Offensive coaches tend to be a little bit impatient. In this situation, I think he's going to start getting impatient. Melvin Martin, number 1 in the NFC in punt return average at a little better than 14 for a return. He signals for a fair catch out at the 14. And Philadelphia will take over for the 2nd time. Charlie Garner, a 55-yard touchdown run on the Eagles' first possession. And Philadelphia leads 7-0.
You see the defensive line there. I tell you what, you know, we talked about the injuries they had up front. Stubbs, he's in because Fuller couldn't go. Harmon, he's nicked up. Dixon, he's in for Gunn. A lot of speculation on how these guys would play.
7-0 Philadelphia in front. And the Eagles bring 3 wideouts into the game. Martin in motion on the 1st and 10. Philadelphia at its own 14. And again, a short drop. Williams a reception. And it appears as though early in the game they're going after Tom Carter. He injured the hamstring against the Raiders early in the season. Still not at 100%.
No, he's not at 100%. I talked to Tom Hayes, the defensive back coach, and he says, yeah, he's not, but he's just going to try to give it a go. Remember, Philadelphia knows there's a bad hamstring out there. And they're going to work on him underneath, and they're going to try to take him up top and test that hamstring soon. But they're just trying to work on his patience now with these underneath routes.
Gain of 7, 2nd and 3 for the Eagles at their own 22. And again, Pete, a short drop in trouble. And the ball is loose.
Now, his arm's in motion.
Well, now they're saying Washington football. Mark Boutte.
We'll have to look at it.
Well, Boutte grabbed a hold of Rodney Peete. The ball came squirting loose.
It looked as though he just took the ball out of his hand while he was standing there set ready to throw. Let's take a look at Pete here. Boutte coming up the middle. Nice SWAT move.
Looked like the left hand just knocked it right out of Pete's right hand.
His arm's coming in motion, and then Boutte looks like he double clutched and decided, I don't want to make the throw. Therefore, his arm is out of motion, stopped, and then he rips the ball out. So that's why it's given over to the Redskins.
Oh, the fumble 1st and 10 for the Redskins at the Eagle 18. And the give is to Terry Allen. Not much room. The former Redskin, Kurt Gouveia. He spent 8 years wearing a Washington uniform, came up to make the tackle.
See, once again, you talk about the turnovers. Now, last week, Redskins had 3 turnovers. They didn't lose the ball. I mean, they gave it up 3 times. They didn't lose the ball, okay? This is key. You need turnovers down in your own red area. Now, these are the little things that got everybody here in Philadelphia really upset with the team.
Allen and Mitchell in the backfield. And here comes the reverse the other way to Leslie Shepard. He has some room, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 15. Not much of a gain. It took a long time getting together. So to bring up 3rd down is Thomas able to push him out of bounds. Philadelphia defensively, as Ron mentioned a moment ago, the number 1 pick Mamula, but Gunn has been lifted in favor of Ronnie Dixon. And also Fuller is inactive today. Daniel Stubbs plays up front. You see Thomas Gouveia and Romanowski, the linebackers. Taylor, his 2nd NFL start. Joining McMillan on the corners, Jackson and Zordich, the safeties.
Really, it's amazing. The only healthy guy they have, the real rusher they have, has been Mamula, the rookie. There's so many changes up front, so many people nicked up, they've had to rely on him.
3rd down and 6 for the Redskins. And now the play blown dead. And a late penalty flag comes in.
Delay of game.
Delay of game against the Redskins.
See, that's a big-time mental error on the part of the Redskins coaching staff. You're sitting down here, 3rd and 6. You're in field goal position. All right, and then they still are, but it's going to be a tougher kick, obviously.
Well, they move him back 5, and rather than 3rd and 6, it now goes to 3rd and 11. They have to get to the Philadelphia 8 for a 1st down.
They're trying to make those changes, get those substitutions in, and they were a little late.
3 receivers set. Mitchell, the lone setback. And Farrat to throw. Dangerous throw, and it's broken up. Terrific coverage by Bobby Taylor, the rookie out of Notre Dame. He made his first start last week against New Orleans, taking over for Derek Frazier.
Yeah, and a lot of controversies gone on about that young man there. Didn't know if he could tackle real well. He really came out early from college from Notre Dame. They knew they would try to throw at him, and they have. Really, Gus Farrat's got to throw that ball away. That's a coverage sack. He tried to fit that thing in there. He's had a bad habit of doing that a couple times here since he started. He got away with it that time, but he's not going to be so lucky in the future.
Eddie Murray on for a 36-yard field goal try out of the hold of Gus Farrat, and Murray, the former Eagle, bangs it through. And Washington on the board. So the Philadelphia turnover leads to a Red